Howdy folks, what I wanted to cover here just briefly are some of the very basic transform tools. In ensuing videos you're going to see me demonstrate how to do different things, okay, but I wanted to cover the very basics. So with your move tool, right, I have this hand that's been separated out. This is one of the files that you'll have this week or in this module. You can move things around. Now some people, this depends on your taste and on what you do, and I have my opinion is I prefer to just hit Command T to enter transform. Okay. Some people really prefer to use the up at the top here. You'll see there's auto select and there's show transform controls. Okay, so anytime you grab any object, it will automatically give you your transformation tools. Okay, so if you hover over each of these boxes, you can see what they do. Now, Photoshop has changed in the last year and a half. It used to be if you would grab the side box here and click and pull, it would change the aspect ratio of the object, so you could stretch and squash. Okay, that is no longer the case. It's the same through all the Adobe programs now. They've changed that. So up at the top, you'll see I have my object selected. It tells me my information, where it's located on the X and Y. Okay, so you could actually use this to position very accurately if you really wanted to. Let me just say real quick, if you're doing design work, Photoshop can do it. It's similar to, I use this metaphor, you can dig a ditch with a toothpick, right? That is definitely possible, but it's not the best tool. Okay, Photoshop is not the best tool for design because it's harder to be accurate with this, right? Especially when it comes to print layout. All right, so up at the top here, you'll see with your width and your height, you notice there is a little chain link here, okay? That means that your aspect ratio is locked. So if I scale by hand, it's going to keep the width and the height the same ratio. If I wanted to change that, I could unclick that, okay? And now when I grab on the side box, see how it allows me to squish, and I can pull to the right and stretch. Okay, now what I can do as well is the keyboard shortcut for that is to hold down Shift. And if I hold down Shift, it'll allow me to do the same thing without unlocking it up here, and then it'll automatically go back to having it locked. Okay, so it's useful to know. If you hover outside of any of the corners, okay, so you notice I'm right on top, allows me to scale. As soon as I hover outside and move anywhere around, I get these little two arrows. That's my rotate. Okay, so I can click and hold and spin it right round, baby, right round, like a record baby, right round, round, round. Okay. Again, you'll notice up here, right, you see this little angle. Okay, I know it's small. You can click in here and you can set your angle at any one that you choose. So I'm going to type 180, hit return, turns it 180 degrees. Okay. Now here's the thing to know about transform. Okay. Photoshop doesn't allow you to do anything until you apply the transformation. Okay, so if I try and click outside of here and do anything else, right, it won't allow me until I either hit enter or return, okay, or I double click inside the box. Okay, either one works. Okay, let me turn off the transform tools. There are some other transformations that are also available from Photoshop. Okay. If you go into edit, transform, okay, you can if you only want to scale, if you only want to skew, if you only want to distort or use perspective or warp, it allows you to access it from this menu. Now I will say that like when you're moving this around, I'm hitting Command T or Control T to enter free transform. If you hold down certain buttons, okay, on your keyboard, keys I guess, they're not really buttons, it will allow you to also access some of those. It's the keyboard shortcut for accessing skew and distort. Okay. So if I hold down Command on the Mac, okay, I can transform in perspective. Okay. If I hold down Control, okay, on the Mac, it's going to give me my options from here. Okay. Okay. If you hold down Command and Alt, okay, it's going to allow me to skew. Okay. All right, and if I hold down Command Alt and Shift, you'll see what it does. It tries to lay it out, okay, from wherever I grab in perspective. Okay, hit Return, Command Z to step back. All right. One last thing that I'm going to just briefly mention, because we'll use it again. Hit Command T. Up at the top here, you see this little symbol next to your interpolation bicubic. Okay, this is your warp tool. Okay, when you enter warp, over here on the left hand, as we move over, right now we have a custom. So I can grab any of these points, and if you've used Illustrator, this should look familiar to you because these are control points. Okay, and I can move this around. Now, warp, if you click next to custom, the drop down, it will give you some basic transformations you can apply. Okay, so if I click bulge, okay, and then I can click on that square right here, I can control how much it bulges in and out. Or let's see, twist. Okay, you see the box right here. This is your control box. And if I pull down, it's going to twist that way, up that way. Okay. Now let's go ahead and pick like rise. Okay. So it sort of gives you a flag looking kind of transformation. What you can then do, though, also is once you've done this, you can go back into and select custom again, and it will go ahead and give you your control points once again. Now this becomes really important if you start laying textures on top of things and you want to kind of warp them around. All right, now what you can do as well, you see here where it says split. Okay, you can split the warp crosswise, vertically, or horizontally. Okay, and all I have to do, you notice if I hover inside of here, okay, now this means that I can specifically control from in here, okay, or in here, okay, and it's going to give me the control points around my distortion. So if I really wanted to twist it, that's how I would do it. Okay, go ahead and play with that. I think it's a lot of fun, but I'm a dork. So, and the rest of the videos will cover some very specific transformations.